The sky is not falling on the U.S. soccer program. The reality is, it had already fallen on the U.S. men's national team. But is it starting to rise? Today, we're going to look at the youth teams, especially a result that just happened today. But I want to ask you a favor. One, subscribe to the channel. It's kind of down there, and hit the little bell so you get notified whenever a new episode comes out. Like the video is the second thing. That really helps show YouTube this is quality content that you're enjoying. If you want to wait till the end to like it, that's fine by me. The third really important thing is to share this video. Share this series. You are a soccer fan. If you're watching this, you're probably a US soccer fan. So go out there, share it with all your friends that are following the program. Give them the playlist. Get their thoughts about the coaching badges, playing away friendlies, things like that. Let's get to today's episode about the youth teams. Hello and welcome back, my friends. It's episode 4 of How to Fix US Soccer. Today, we are going to be talking about the youth teams. Now, I'm not talking about pay to play. I still have a lot of research to do on that. I know that's a hot topic. We've had lots of people say over the last 3 videos, hey, you need to talk about pay to play. I plan to do that. I want to make sure I'm not going to give you a hot take like I'm on Fox Sports with another person where we're just going, I think this point, you think that point, and like arguing back and forth. I'm not going to do that. I want to give you an informed take. But let's look at the USMNT, the U20, and the U17. The reason I'm putting out this video right now is the under-17s are in the World Cup, the U17 World Cup in India. They were third place in their group. Now, they had 6 points as first and second did, but it was goal differential and results against that bumped them down to third and made them play the winners of Group B, Paraguay, today. It was at 10:30 Eastern this morning. Okay? Paraguay was undefeated in their group stage, beating Mali, New Zealand, and Turkey. Okay, so they were 9 points out of 3 games. That's as good as it gets, right? They're the winners of the group. U.S. loses their last match of the group stage. You have to be thinking that maybe the result that the USMNT did not go and get at Trinidad and Tobago was weighing on them a little bit because John Hackenworth, the coach of the U17s, said he told the team. So you got to think like maybe they were feeling that weight a little bit. I'm assuming it happened before the match. Otherwise, it's just a pitiful excuse. But what I like about this result, they just beat Paraguay 5-0. Well, I'll repeat that again. The USA U17s just beat Paraguay 5-0 in the World Cup, in the knockout round of the World Cup. So we're in the top 8 now in the U17 World Cup. And I want to talk about that because that to me shows a mentality. They understand, wow, everyone is looking at us because the U20s aren't playing right now. The USMNT just bombed out. So all eyes on Americans are like looking at the U17s, like just give me something. And let me tell you, the U17s today have been a soothing salve for the stung souls of US soccer fans, including me, right? So 5-0. But let's go take a look at some of the, not the results, but I just want to show you the team a little bit to kind of give you an idea. When I started the episode, I said, it's not like the sky is falling, it had already fallen. And there's a generation of players between roughly like 23 and 27 that if you look at the USMNT roster for the World Cup qualifying, didn't exist. I mean, there were a couple guys, to be fair, but like we had, if you look at not only the starting 11 of the Trinidad game, but the bench players, we had probably, and I haven't looked at all the teams because that's too much work to be honest with you, but probably one of the, if not the oldest group of players trying to qualify for the World Cup. And that is just a bad idea. Like experience, great, but you got to have legs and some youth and some good players. And I'm not saying bring in a U17 player, but the fact that we didn't have many 22, 23, 24, 25, 26-year-old players to supplement or push the 28 to 32, 34-year-old players that we had on the pitch, that indicates a problem. But the sky hasn't fallen. It has already fallen. That group of players was not there for whatever reason. It could be because Arena and Klinsmann didn't like them. It could be because they're not good enough. It could be any combination of things. Doesn't really matter. They weren't there. But when you look at the next generation that's coming up, the U20s and the U17s, the future is not so bleak. at least at the level that they're at. So let's take a look at that. All right. Since we're talking about the U-17s, here's the game today. 5-0, Timothy Weah, who, if you're a relatively ignorant U.S. soccer fan like myself, and you're like growing in your knowledge of the game, he's the son of George Weah, who was quite good apparently back in the day, played for PSG and other clubs. But Timothy Weah has signed, as of this summer, a youth contract with PSG through 2020. He had a hat trick. It's pretty good, and they were good. Now, a couple of them were really good balls. Andrew Carlton had a wonderful assist on at least one of Weah's goals. He got a goal himself. And then Josh Sargent, who played in the U20 World Cup earlier this year and is also playing in the U17 World Cup. My goodness. Josh Sargent, we just have to be careful that we don't Freddie Adu Josh Sargent and put all the weight of U.S. soccer on him. But he played for both the U20 and U17s in the World Cup. He's quite good, yeah. And people have noticed, because you're like, well, Timothy Weah has scored a hat trick. Sargent only had a goal. Well, it's because Sargent's so good that teams are like, mark that guy. Double team that guy, right? But that opens up space for the rest of the squad. So played a kind of a counterattacking style using, again, the U.S. player is traditionally going to be physical, work hard, fast, rather than super duper technical. And it worked out. Once that first goal came in the 19th minute, they kind of wore them down. In the second half, it was just an explosion of goals. So quite a nice result there for the U-17s. But I'm looking at the U-17 roster. So it shows here their clubs. So these are all, like, that's I don't know if it's that USL. They switched, but that's like second division in America, which isn't really a thing. Toronto FC, Real Salt Lake, MLS clubs. Sockers FC, I'm not familiar. Atlanta United. He is in MLS. He's gotten some minutes. He hasn't started like consistently, but he's gotten some. He's a U17, right? Like easy. Dest is on Ajax, Benfica, DC United, Solar Chelsea, whatever that is. Atlanta United, New York Red Bulls, Atlanta United, Sporting Kansas City is what I was trying to say. CF Monterrey, FC Dallas, who love youth players. NYC FC, James Sands. Josh Sargent, St. Louis, Scott Geller. It's because he's signed for Werder Bremen. So that was like his academy. But he can't start for Werder Bremen until he's 18. So that's where he's going to be going. New York City FC. I think this is interesting. Indiana Vasilev is unattached. You'd got to think if you've made it to a U17 World Cup, he was subbed on in the 34th minute due to injury to one of our players. Not Reyes. Who was it? Ferry came off with an injury. He got a knock. So you're the first sub off the bench. I gotta think he's gonna get a club soon. Portland Timbers and PSG. So quite nice. They're on to the top 8. I think that's the quarterfinals, if I'm doing my math right. And they're gonna face either England or Japan on Saturday morning. So that is a soothing salve to me. 5-0. Because after the result, was it Monday? No, maybe Wednesday of last week. Whatever it was, when in the group stage they lost to Colombia and went from the top of the group to third place. You're thinking like, gosh, does this go back to like we don't have a winning mentality? Because all we needed was a draw in the group stage to remain top of the group, and we lost and fell to third. So you start worrying about that, and then they come through today, and my goodness, what a turnaround. 5-0. Let's not just look at that though. Let's look at the U20s. And the U20 website is a little jacked up, but what you need to look at here is they fall to Venezuela 2-1 in extra time in the U20 World Cup quarterfinals. So again, whether you win your U20, U17 World Cup, I'm less concerned about. Just want to see good results, right? So 2-1 in extra time. Okay, it's a tough result to take, but you're in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Now you look at the roster. I think it's weird that they don't have the pictures for the U20s. That's just weird to me. But Tyler Adams, he's not on Red Bull's tool anymore. I watched him yesterday in a Red Bulls game. Cameron Carter-Vickers, we like to call him CCV, is with Tottenham. Might get loaned out. This guy's in. It's currently. Is that true? Is he still Duke? I thought he got signed. So you've got some college players in here. Sporting Kansas City, Eric Palmer Brown, up and comer. Josh Sargent, like we talked about earlier. Fulham, Luca Del Torre, Rangers, Bethlehem Steel, which is kind of second division team in the United States. So all I want to say is like it does give you a little bit of hope that the world's not ending, right? For U.S. soccer. So there are significant problems. Everyone's mad and got their pitchforks out, and they want to blame somebody. Blame the players, blame the coaches, blame the staff, blame, the structure, whatever you want. There are bigger issues, but you can't just fix them in one. Like, you can't go like, pay to play, done, fixed it. Pro rel, done, fixed it. You can't do that. But what you can do is look at the results of these teams that are in the youth ranks. Now, again, they have to continue to develop, but the fact that we are into the quarterfinals, I believe, round of 8 is quarterfinals. Either way, you're into the round of 8 at the U-17 World Cup. Earlier this year, you were in the quarterfinals of the U-20 World Cup. That gives you some hope that by the time 2022 rolls around, we'll have a stronger group, much stronger group of players that by that point, 4 years from now, those U-20s will be 24, right? They need to make the Olympics. Those U-17s will be 2021, something like that. So players are going to be pushing each other and pushing the old guard to get better. So I'd love your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on the U-17s, the U-20s? Was it the soothing salve to your soul today like it was for me? I have a lot more videos that will be coming out later this week. We're going to talk about Iceland. We're going to talk about pay to play. I'm looking at my notes here. We're going to talk about how large the United States is and how people are just mad. But I thought it was worth sharing. 5-0 U-17s. Move on. Let's go. Baby Nats. Hashtag. It's the hashtag. Yeah. Let's do it. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment. That's important. Thanks.